I don't know what the new file. Now we're going to test our improv skills.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have some things I do want to mention.
Okay.
Maybe a wild shape. They can get in and out undetected as a mouse or a
Deer.
Yes, a deer. They'll blend in with all the other deer in the castle.
Don't mock me.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. MSRP must purchase from dealer stock. Credit rating required. Excludes tax, title, destination charge, and a bunch of other stuff I don't feel like saying right now. Speaking of cars, Darin once had a very nice Pontiac Vibe that I wanted so bad, and he callously gave it away to some charity, and I will never forgive him for that. However, Darin does have very tasty lawnmowers and restaurants. Speaking of restaurants, isn't it try Gold Stars and burgers? I think they might be wrong for children burgers. I mean, come on, this is Cincinnati. Say, hey, I wonder if I fit the cat. No, I definitely did not feed the cat. Crap, I need to feed the cat. Now, here are your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I'm Darin.
This is Irritable Dad Syndrome, episode 100. Welcome to the show. We've got so many things to talk to you about.
Oh my goodness,
this episode.
It's going to be sick.
If you listened to our last episode, you heard our conversation, our engaging conversation with
Yeah.
Shadow Stevens. He was a really cool guy.
Remember when he was talking about that thing?
In the stuff. He talked about the thing and the stuff.
And then
at the same time.
And then he went back.
Yeah.
And he started talking about those other things that, I mean, I didn't think he would go there, but he did.
You know, when he tied the stuff with the things and then brought it back full circle to the stuff.
Yeah, he brought it all home. It was all current, and
that was amazing.
I mean, I was so surprised. And if you want to know what we're talking about, go to irritabledadsyndrome.com and listen to our last episode with legendary. He's a legend in radio, film, television. And I just want to mention again that if you have not listened to Mental Radio with Shadow Stevens, go to mentalradio.net.
It is really
right
good.
now. Yeah, I played it. Actually, I sent a link of it to our buddy Andrew, who listens to the show. He's our attorney. Yeah, and he said, "I don't know what that was, but I can't stop listening to it. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, and I honestly." I can't believe Shadow was a guest.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think I'll tell you what it was. Shadow probably listens to our show, and he's like, if Haywood Banks can do it, then hell, then if he's cool enough to be on the show, then I'm going to do it.
So the show in question is Irritable Dad Syndrome. That's what you're listening to right now. By the way,
yes, it is.
If you like what we do, please go to irritabledadsyndrome.com. It's a fancy website.
You know, you do a really good job with the website.
It's got images.
Yes.
It's got searchable things.
Stuff.
Some of the episodes, many of the episodes have transcripts. Here's a fun drinking game. Listen to the episode, then read the transcript and try to tell if that really goes with the episode.
They always misspell my name on the transcript.
And
I don't know who to call to talk to about that.
And it uses AI to determine who's talking, either me, you, or Dave.
Right.
I just recently started putting Dave as a label because it kept finding a third speaker, and I'm an idiot. I'm like, there's no third speaker. It's just me. It's Dave.
No, it's Dave Lay.
So if you look at some of the transcripts, it calls out Dave. Some of them it doesn't.
Yeah.
Some of them will have clips from Will Ferrell or Bill Murray, and that's Dave.
Yes.
So our transcripts are nothing if not exceptionally accurate and detailed. I read a tip online, and I'm planning on trying this.
On the internet.
Hey, on the interwebs.
Okay.
Take your entire transcript, feed it in the ChatGPT, and
in the what?
ChatGPT, the AI.
Hey, you know
thing.
me.
You haven't heard of ChatGPT?
No. Tell me all about ChatGPT, Mike.
ChatGPT is the AI thing that's been in the news for like the past 4 months.
I don't watch the news.
You've heard of the AI craze. AI is a big thing.
Yes, it is.
So
AI stands for artificial imagery.
Yes. Okay, so this is the thing that is creating content. It's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Students are using it to cheat in school. They're saying, write me a paper on World War II, make it 4,000 words, and talk about these three things. And it'll write them a paper, and it'll write them at whatever level you want them to write at, whatever grade you think it should get. It'll fashion it together for you.
It will not.
It will. It will list. It will take. You can feed in our voices, and then you can have it create a script for a podcast, use our voices, and it will create an episode with those topics that you can listen to. It will create an Irritable Dad Syndrome episode full with the production and everything.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're closer to Skynet than you think we are.
Yeah.
People are using that. Google is doing a thing where they are looking at content and they're using markers to try to figure out what is being created by AI and what is not.
As my dad would say, they're putting my name on a list.
They are putting your name on a list. So we're in a whole new world where there's a lot of content, and you can tell right now you're still in a period where you can tell.
By the way, don't say a whole new world unless you want me to start singing Aladdin.
Don't do that.
And if you listened to 2 episodes ago with The Little Mermaid, I will burst out into song.
Don't do that. So we're in a space now where it's kind of easy to tell which is AI and which is not, but it's getting murky.
Yeah. Okay.
It's getting really murky.
Well, I've seen a lot of the, on the TikTok.
Those Star Wars trailers that I've been sending to you guys on the chat, that's created with AI. With like Adam Driver in Dune and just weird stuff. It's creating video with audio, everything.
No, it's not called that, but there's
Wes Anderson Star Wars and Wes Anderson.
Oh, I love the Wes Anderson Star Wars
that's
trailer.
All AI
that
stuff.
was hysterical. Oh my God, that was the funniest thing I'd seen in a very, very, very long time. But no, there was a guy who made like an AI George Lucas and had his name.
Yeah.
And it's not George Lucas.
Right.
But he looks and sounds just like George Lucas because he put George Lucas's face on this other person.
Well, that's what you are aware that there's a writer's strike.
Yes.
It's because of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want because a company, AI has gotten to the point with ChatGPT and similar things where they can just take what a writer's done for the past couple of years and they don't need the writer anymore.
Yeah.
Just what would this person do with this topic?
It's disgraceful. It really is.
Yeah. So here we are.
Yeah. Our buddy Mike Chisholm, who hosts the Letterman
it's pronounced
podcast. Chisholm. He's buddies now.
He's an AI. He's not real.
Oh, really?
I mean, as far as I can tell, he's just a rectangle on our screen when we talk to him.
Just a guy with a ponytail. Yeah. But no, he is buddies now with a lot of the writers for Letterman.
Yeah.
Okay. And he is actually going to go on the strike, on the picket line.
Holy crap. Really?
With Steve Young. Oh, one of the writers for Letterman.
Oh, we need to figure out a way to interview him while he's on strike. There.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Have him call in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Did you write your own sign that you're carrying? Is that against the will of the strike?
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah.
So I've been since I've found that it can do all those different things. I've really been toying with the idea. I am going to take one of our transcripts and put it in there and see what it does with it.
Okay.
I'd be really curious.
And it will like do our voices.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fascinated.
There's things out there that because right now they're doing it.
Let's try
with
it, and then we'll sling it out.
You've seen the deep fakes. That was kind of
that's
an
what I
early
was talking
version
about.
of
Deep
it.
fake.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you've heard of the Turing test. Have you heard of the Turing test with AI? So
no.
The Turing test is where you can. It was a test developed to determine when AI becomes self-aware, when you can't tell the difference between artificial intelligence and another human being.
Okay.
If it passes the Turing test or fails it, I can't remember which way it goes.
Spell
then
Turing.
Turing.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a series of questions that psychologists and scientists or whatever have for AIs, and they will fall apart. So years and years ago, they would have bots, there are still bots out there in chats and things, but they would say stupid like, me like you, you like me. I don't know why the bot sounds like that, but it would, here's a picture of my Fluffy.
All of a sudden we're in the middle of Tommy Boy. What kind of hotel is this?
Yeah. But it's with ChatGPT, it's gotten really difficult to tell the difference. So the concern, or what they're talking about, Elon Musk has been talking about, we're reaching that point where we won't be able to tell. And it's not like it's going to happen slowly. Mm-hmm. His thing, and if you watch his interview on Joe Rogan's podcast, it'll keep you up at night. So I don't recommend it, but it is pretty fascinating. He talks about how once we realize that it's happened, it's too late to do anything about it, because everything that we use is controlled with computers, everything, your phone, everything. Yeah. And people are using ChatGPT on their phones.
Yeah.
You can access it on that. So it can control what you see, everything that however you're interacting. It can mimic people on Facebook. There's profiles that are set up that aren't real people that are interacting.
Well, you can go into it with the AI, and you can throw in a few keywords.
Yeah.
Like I want Harrison Ford as the Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay. Bam.
Right.
In the rain. Okay, and it will sling you out an image of Harrison Ford hulked out in the rain.
Redo Big Lebowski with the Avengers cast.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
it does that.
Yeah. I think it's awesome.
Yes,
but it's also,
But the people who invented it are they're essentially shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. It was like Jurassic Park. The guy, who's the guy?
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
So thinking about whether you can, and they never thought about whether they should.
People keep asking whether they can, but they should ask whether they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So so at first glance, you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. There's AI. People won't know what it is. But when you really look at how much it controls, it doesn't really need to actively control, whether or not the heat goes up and down in your house, although it can certainly do that.
Yeah.
If it controls your perception about the outside world and what's going on, I mean, how much time are people spending on their phones staring at screens? The majority of people, I would say the majority of people that I speak to, get their news and get their information about what's happening outside of their community through a screen.
Yeah.
And if it can be faked that easily, like I said, right now you can kind of tell, but
people already believe social media is news.
Yeah.
I saw it on Facebook, so it's got to be true.
Yeah, it's on the Book of Faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this is another example of maybe not to this extreme, but Hollywood shot themselves in the foot. Okay. It used to be everybody, and I mean everybody, loved going to the movies.
Yeah.
Okay. America, the United States, one of their greatest exports was Hollywood and motion pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. All across this flat planet of ours, people loved watching movies that were made here in the United States. Okay. And then, so what did they do? They started marketing TVs bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And then, hey, we're going to sell you this home entertainment center, and it'd be just like a movie in your damn house. Okay. One strike. Okay. And then on the DVD, all they had to do was put the movie out on DVD. Okay. That would have been fine. But they got greedy.
Yeah.
And they said, we want you to see the movie and buy the DVD because the DVD has bonus features and it has the audio commentary from the director and the key grip and the dude who mopped
and you
the floor.
can watch it in German.
Yes.
Or
you can change the subtitles
Portuguese.
and the all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you can see deleted scenes. Okay. So people for a long time were doing that.
Yeah.
They would go to the movie. They loved it so much that I'm buying
Now
that.
we're going to up the resolution, and now you got to rebuy all the Blu-rays.
Now you got to rebuy
and the 4Ks and the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they said, people are sick of cable, so we're going to start streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. And Netflix was the horse that ran out the gate first, and everybody had Netflix, and then boom, Peacock, HBO Plus, Hulu, and Disney, and this and this and this and this. And so all these people who tried to save money getting rid of cable now have 9-10 streaming services and probably pay more for what they did to cable. Yeah. I've got off track. My point is,
well, if I may, for our listeners, this is a comedy podcast. Yeah. This is funny as shit.
No,
this is the funniest shit you've heard all day, and don't act like it's not. We're allowed to be serious every once in a while.
We are.
Because we talk about fascinating topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is,
yes,
there's people are asking, how come people don't go to the movies anymore? Because of you.
Yeah.
Because you f***ed it up for everybody.
Yeah, because you're charging $15 for a kernel of popcorn.
Yes.
Which
movie tickets are out the wazoo. Yeah. Okay, movie tickets are so expensive. You won't go to the movie unless you can spend $175.
Right.
I'm
one of those guys.
Exactly.
Well, when the Avengers, I mean, I had to watch it in all its glory.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah, but
movie tickets are way, way, way too expensive.
I think you go to the movies more often than I do, though.
I've got not lately.
So
not really.
Maybe
not anymore.
Well,
we used to. Libby and I. We used to go to one, sometimes two movies a weekend, every weekend.
Speaking of this, before I forget, and I need to tell you and everyone in the world that listens to this show,
this comedy podcast.
Yeah, this comedy podcast. You have here's comedy. You have Paramount Plus.
Yes, I do.
Still,
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons is on it right now.
It is
streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Bess and I were sitting down. By the way, We have a decent TV.
You do.
We have a decent home theater thing.
Yeah.
People can see. We have like the little lights back there.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we watch now is on the TV in our bedroom, the little one on the wall. And we've been streaming Survivor season 1 and 2 from like 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
So as we were getting ready to watch Survivor, it popped up and said, "Hey, Dungeons and Dragons is on Paramount Plus now." And I was like, "Holy crap. I just ordered it.
It was just at the movie a month ago.
Yeah, and
3 weeks ago.
I just ordered the disc too."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm still going to get the disc because it is really, really good."
Okay.
But yeah, anybody within the sound of my voice, if you haven't watched it yet, I guess you still have an excuse because you have to get Paramount Plus. And really, the only thing on there is, at this point, Dungeons and Dragons.
1883 and 1948.
Or 1928. Survivor. The Halo show.
Every episode of the Amazing Race is on Paramount Plus.
The Star Treks.
Yeah.
There's a new Star Trek with a guy that has gray hair but looks like he's 20.
Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You don't like Beavis and Butthead?
I did.
I did too, but I tried watching Beavis and Butthead. I got maybe 6 minutes into it, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just like, okay, all right.
They're okay.
That's you've gotten old when you just couldn't do an
now,
episode of Beavis and Butthead.
South Park, I don't, if the South Park comes on,
okay.
Which, I mean, who am I kidding? I keep saying if this is on, I'll watch it. Nothing's on. I sit down and choose what it is that I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
I can't. The only time something's just on is when we visit, like my mom.
Yeah,
and, the TV is on. It's like, oh, this is what we're watching now.
Yeah,
or you visit someone else's.
Does she have the Netflix or anything? No. She still has cable.
Straight. Yeah, and let me tell you,
with the commercials.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah,
explaining to the kids what commercials are. It took a while.
Oh,
that's like, why can't we just skip this? You can't. And then it's just, you don't want to go there.
That's how it used to be when we visited my mom in Tennessee. And when she moved up here, we finally convinced her to get the Netflix. And she's got Spectrum.
So there was a guy that I went to school with. There's actually Tay. This is my best man at my wedding.
Okay.
He had a thing
How
that
is
he would
he?
do. He's doing well.
Oh, good.
He had a thing that he would do if we were watching TV in our house. We shared a house. When commercials would come on, he would mute the TV and he would want to talk to us. Like the first couple times, he'd be like, he did it, and he was like, "Okay, so Mike, how was your day?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, Tay?" What is it, and then everybody would laugh like, why you, there's a beer, I actually want to see this commercial. This looks like it's a funny commercial. Oh, you don't need to see that commercial. Did you have a good day?
Unless you're watching the Super Bowl. I mean.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to talk to you at all. And B, I don't want to have a discussion with you in the middle of this show that we're watching. Stop it. And he did it to me because he knew it would piss me off. I don't know if you know this. I'm prone to go off on rants.
Really?
I do from time to time.
Since when?
So, and he would do this to get me keyed up. And then when the movie would come back on, I'd be like, "Okay, Odell, shut up." And now I'm all jacked and I can't enjoy the movie.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Otis Elevators. I'm Dave Lay. Hey, vacation time is coming up, and please don't make the same mistake that I made last year. Before you book your vacation plans, call your hotel and ask if they have Otis Elevators. If they don't, well, just tell them to suck it and go to a hotel that does have Otis Elevators. They're worth the ride every time.
My grandfather, the second a commercial would come on, he would pop it to something else, and he would surf around to see what was going on.
And then you miss half
my anxiety was off the charts because, dude, how do you know? It's like, you don't have a timer. Do you have a 2-minute timer, Bill? No, you don't, Bill. Bill, the hell my grandfather's name is Bill. What the hell are you doing, Bill? And I was just like, you're going to miss when the show comes back.
My dad, when he would take me to the movies, we've talked about before on the show, I saw a lot of inappropriate movies because back in the day, you couldn't tell what was in them. But my dad was obsessed with not watching the trailers.
Right.
So he would try to time it to where we would get there past the trailers, and we would end up missing the first 5 or 6 minutes of the movie.
I like the trailers.
There are I
don't like 20 minutes of trailers.
I know, but there were so many movies that as a kid I watched, I had no idea what the hell was going on. One of them, the Warrior of the Future.
That
do you remember Yor?
That guy from Winnie the Pooh?
No.
Oh,
no,
wait,
not Eeyore.
No, that's Eeyore. I'm sorry.
So Yor.
This is a comedy podcast.
Yeah,
that was funny.
This is some funny shit right now.
Yor
is like a caveman.
for I am your.
Yeah, exactly. He actually says
for
that.
I am Lothar of the Hill People.
They're making fun of your a little bit with that.
Okay.
But the deal with him is they're cave people, and then they happen upon some futuristic thing, and then you find out that they're actually way in the future, and society like devolved back down, and now they're cave people, and they're fighting robots and shit. I don't know what happened because I missed the beginning of it.
Right.
When we got into the theater, with his branch of doom was walking into
that was the name of the movie.
Like a spaceship in some, back in the 80s, there were always just, I don't even know what I'm talking about. No. He would walk into the spaceship of doom.
So there's a caveman. And he's in a spaceship.
Yeah, I'm already an idiot. I'm a kid. I don't know what's happening.
The no gravity thing must have really
what's happening. I didn't know. Krull. I love Krull.
Okay.
It wasn't until I came on HBO years after it was in the theater when I finally got to see the beginning of Krull to see what all the fuss was about. That big ugly stole that lady and took her to the castle. I didn't know that. All I knew was the dude with the hair was going to get this glaive. Why? I don't know. And hanging out with a cyclops and riding horses in the air. Yeah. Why are they doing this?
Hey, what happened?
Did I see it at home? Oh, we missed 15 minutes of the movie.
You're talking about when we were trying to explain to the kids when you were watching TV at your mom's house and she has the commercials.
Yeah.
We were trying to explain to the kids what it was like when we grew up because we had 3 channels. And then there was a time where the antenna on top of our house broke and we had 1 channel. Okay. There was a long time where we had 1 channel.
Yeah.
But the thing was, when the commercial came on, that's when you went and used the bathroom real quick, got your popcorn, and you ran back.
Oh,
okay.
If you had to poop, man, you had to.
Yeah, you make sure that you poop before WKRP in Cincinnati comes on because you don't want to miss any of WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And they didn't believe us, so we're trying to explain this to them. Well, we had a rule in our house. Oh, and if you missed an episode, you missed an episode.
I had slide lanes.
You had to wait until the repeats in the fall. Now, granted, back in the day, they would repeat an episode maybe a couple times. Okay. I don't know what the networks do now. I can't tell you the last time I watched. No, the last time I watched an episode of network television was This Is Us.
There were slide lanes in my kitchen, in my mom's kitchen, the linoleum floor. Yeah. I knew when I would stop running and slide to get Doritos and then slide over to get to Kool-Aid and run back to the TV.
Yeah. So one of the worst days of my childhood. Okay. I had watched Hill Street Blues. Okay. Do you remember Hill Street Blues?
I never watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
One of the most amazing network television shows of all time, really. Yeah. Any critic will tell you Hill Street Blues was just amazing. Yeah. So I had been watching Hill Street Blues, and there was like a 4-episode arc of the show.
Okay.
The guy, Belker. Okay, Belker was like the undercover cop who would like run and bite people, and he would like go undercover and he would pretend that he's homeless and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So he's the undercover cop. Well, there's this guy, who thinks he can fly. He thinks he's a superhero. Okay.
Greatest American hero.
Kind of, but he's a character on Hill Street Blues. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Belker, he had warmed up to this crazy person. And again, it's a 4-episode arc. I had watched episode 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Episode 4 was coming on. I wanted to watch it. And Mom and my brother Greg said, "Oh, we don't want to watch that tonight."
Was Dallas on?
No, there was the Oak Ridge Boys were on the Barbara Walters special interview. Yeah. And they were like, well,
them and Conway Twitty were always
well, they were like, we can flip back and forth.
You can't.
Let's just flip back and forth. And I don't know what the rule was in your house, but whoever didn't want to watch the show had to, if the TV was acting up, you had to was the person who held the antenna.
Yeah.
So not only did I not get to watch this episode of Hill Street Blues, I had to hold the antenna.
Yeah.
And by the time Barbara Walters interviewed the Oak Ridge Boys and we flipped back, the dude was dead. Okay. Our superhero friend was dead. And I missed one of the greatest episodes of Hill Street Blues ever. I still have not seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not on antenna TV because it's not a comedy.
The one huge disagreement I can remember about what was on the TV, my parents had given me a 5-inch black and white TV.
Shut up.
5-inch.
Wow.
It was smaller than my phone screen.
You pushed it into the wall when you needed more space.
And it was Star Wars. Star Wars was going to be on TV for the first time ever. And it was going to happen is some other show that my parents were watching, Dallas or something. And I sat in my room, my face 3 inches away from a 5-inch black and white screen with a mono little speaker. I still remember the speaker's that big, like size of an Oreo, and watched Star Wars. Then, when Empire Strikes Back came on TV, we had upgraded. We had the biggest, nicest TV on the block.
Okay.
All the kids came over and gathered around the 19-inch color TV
4x3
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a big deal. Yeah.
We were the Jeff Foxworthy joke. If you put your new TV on top of your old TV, you might be a redneck. Yeah. And we did that. We had the big panel TV, the giant 80-pound panel TV that was on the floor. When it died, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
We couldn't carry it outside. I wish I had it now.
So the only thing
but we put our new one on top of that one.
Yeah. The only thing that's out there now that even begins to mimic what we went through as kids. Because I remember when Superman the movie was coming on, me and my friend were out playing, and we kept like one of us had a watch, kept saying, "Is it 8 o'clock yet? Is it getting close to 8 o'clock?" Because we're gonna go watch Superman. The closest thing that kids have to that now are playing online with their friends. There's a moment when the boys are going to be on.
Yeah.
And you're all going to get together and play.
Yeah.
That's really the only schedule, because everything else is on demand or whenever the hell you want to watch it.
I know.
Yeah.
And I kind of...
I miss, there was a collective experience thing. Yeah.
I do.
That's what made the Marvel movies so awesome. That's part of what made Endgame so great.
Yeah.
Was that everybody in the world was in the theaters watching that damn thing.
That was the one time. I mean, it's not like there's conflict in our house all the time. Okay. That was the one time where all four of us were equally stoked out of our freaking minds about this movie. And Mike, I'm telling you, night after night after night, it's like, well, how are they going to do this? How can he do that? They got all the rings. Well, he can't sneak up on them. He can see them. Well, he can't know. Well, he sees into the future. And it's like, well, what's going to happen to Spider-Man? What's going to happen? I mean, we're out of our mind excited. And you went to see it the day before we did, and I was just so jealous.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And it was all I could do. And I stayed off the interwebs.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't turn on nothing. Okay. No. And I absolutely I resisted. I just completely resisted. A buddy of mine, David Kane, made the mistake. He had clicked on the link that said, hey, here's some leaked footage from Avengers Endgame. And he knew about Fat Thor. Okay. And then he knew about Captain America. Spoiler alert, Captain America can hold Mjolnir the hammer.
So
Mjolnir is the hammer, right?
Mjolnir is the hammer.
And the axe is Shadowfax.
Yeah.
No. What's the axe?
Shadow something.
Windbreaker. Stormbreaker. Windbreaker. So, this is a comedy podcast, kids.
So a couple things happened during Endgame. I cackled so loud at Fat Thor. I couldn't stop laughing. Remember when we all went to see Angry Birds 2 at the same time, and me and Bess could not stop laughing at the bathroom scene? Yeah. That's how I was with Fat Thor, to the point where Bess was laughing along with me, and then she started looking embarrassed because I could not stop laughing.
Yeah.
That, and I think it's the first time my kids ever heard me cuss in public out loud was when the hammer came back. It was Captain America.
Yeah.
And I want to believe I said, holy shit. I may have said, yeah. But I hope I said, holy shit. But I said one of those two things.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing.
It was. It was amazing. Yeah. It was absolutely amazing.
And there were videos on YouTube. I saved one of them of like people would record in theaters that scene happening and like the reaction.
Yep. Well, I mean, that I've talked about it on this podcast many, many times. And, Captain America was the last one standing.
Yeah.
And he stands up and he tightens his shield, and he would have just kept going.
Yep,
man. He still had fight in him, and he was never going to give up.
That's right.
And that's just like
that's
just
Captain America,
absolutely the epitome of what a superhero does. He never stops.
So
and we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? We had no idea. And then on your left, and then all the things opened up, and then and we're like, oh my God, and the chills and the hair stand up on your arm, and everyone just wanting to stand up, and you want to run onto the screen and fight with them, and God, I'm a nerd. Oh my God.
But the great movies all had that in common.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, when the new Indiana Jones came out, that was kind of not on that level, but it was kind of like everybody's like, oh, that's coming out. That's a big thing.
Well,
The
that's
new
how,
Star Wars.
Libby was out of her mind with the Lord of the Rings coming out every year.
Oh, I lost my... I was driving Bess. I knew that if she didn't leave me leading up to Lord of the Rings, she would never leave me because I was annoying myself. They were releasing screenshots of the ring wraiths. They show a picture of a ring wraith.
Yeah.
And it would be on a wallpaper. This is back in Netscape days or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, show her. I was like, she's like, was that the hooded guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're looking for the ring. They're going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
She's okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy. Yeah, but it's... Who's that? That's Strider. I thought you said it's Aragorn. Well, it's Aragorn. It is, but it's Strider in this movie.
Right.
And when does he become Aragorn? He's always Aragorn, but that's him. And look, the hobbits don't look like little... That was my favorite thing.
Right.
Was that the hobbits and everything leading up to that were always like...
Yeah.
But in this one, they looked cool.
Yeah.
They were like cool-looking hobbits.
Uh-huh.
And they found a way... They made Gandalf look like a badass.
Yeah.
If you read the description of him in the book, it's like the pointy hat and all the little cartoons before had to...
Gandalf
I'm
is
a wizard.
a badass.
He is a badass, but they found a way to make his pointy hat awesome. Like now, if I see a silhouette with that bent over pointy hat, oh, that dude's going to mess you up.
Well, you know what? And I've had this conversation with the kids. The moral of that story was even the smallest person can do amazing, great things.
So
and Frodo and Merry and Pippin and Sam, those four, they had no idea what they were capable of.
Yeah.
Okay. So, they thought they were just, it's like, we're going to drink our beer, we're going to eat our salted pork, and we're going to have our garden and smoke our pipes and la-di-da, right? And then, holy crap. These four little hobbits who it's like, hey, what happened? Nobody saw that happening.
Yeah.
And they just
tear it up.
It's amazing.
They tear it up.
And I'm sorry, but I will judge a person who doesn't enjoy the Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah. As a kid, as a kid back in the day, all the cool parts were like the battle scenes and all that stuff.
Smaug,
now, where I'm at, dude, I love the Hobbit scenes when they're just getting hammered and hanging out and being hobbits and being farming and whatever, blowing smoke rings. That's one of my favorite parts is in both movies, Bilbo and Gandalf blowing the smoke rings.
And every year, sometime we will watch. We'll break it over into like a 3-weekend thing. Usually in the winter, we'll watch the Hobbit.
It's kind of
again.
a wintry thing.
Yeah.
They came out in December. They were the Christmas movies for a while.
Yeah.
Another thing, and so I have a 50th anniversary, or maybe it's 100th, I don't freaking know, of The Lord of the Rings, and it has illustrations. What?
I'm just thinking.
We had nothing to talk about.
No, I was trying to. I've told this story before, but we were going to explain the Lord of the Rings to my mom, and she goes, I understand it completely. Everybody wants the ring. Nobody can have the ring. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
So I have a book. I still have it in there, a version of Lord of the Rings that has illustrations by Alan Lee.
Okay.
And they're awesome. They're awesome pictures. And I remember when they were throwing out about every couple of months, they would throw out a new nugget of information.
Ooh, a nugget.
And it said that the art direction was they were following the Alan Lee art direction. And then I made Bess. I got that book, and we looked at each picture together. She's like, "Okay, yeah, I see what the dragon. Yeah, that's what the dragon's going to look like.
Yeah.
And look here, look here. That's the Balrog. That's what he's going to. And look, Moria. When they go to Moria, it's going to look like that. And I know I drove her crazy because we went to see Fellowship of the Ring together, and we went to Moria. They in the behind the scenes they pointed out the Mines of Moria. Yeah. When they went in there, Peter Jackson points out in the director commentary. Yes, I watched it.
Yeah, I did too.
That scene where the light comes on and they were trying to mimic an Alan Lee painting, which I had shown Bess, and I'm like nudging her arm, and I could have. She didn't say this, but I could sense her saying, "No, I'm here watching it. Will you shut the hell up?" She was so happy when that movie was done because it's like, oh, he'll shut up.
Well, one of the coolest things about my wife is awesome. Okay, my wife is a badass, and she loved the books, and she couldn't wait to see the movies. And we're in the second one, the Two Towers, and these kids are talking behind us, and she shoots them the look, and then they're still talking. She shoots them another look, a longer. And the third time, she finally turned around. She said, "You people are killing me. You're killing me." And the mom was scared to death of my wife Libby.
Oh yeah,
and she was like, "Mom, shh." The mom did like the red light thing, put her arm across the kid's no, we're not going to mess with this lady. Guys, we're going to go to irritabledadsyndrome.com and check out our last episode with Shadow Stevens. You're going to love it. And check out the one before that where I'm singing the Little Mermaid song. And you know what? Just screw it. Go listen to all our episodes. Yeah. You'll have a great time. If you enjoyed the podcast and you want to go to Patreon, if you want to send us a couple bucks or whatever to help us keep the lights on, so to speak, you know what? That would be greatly appreciated. You'll get a lot of bonus content on our website. Some pretty cool stuff. So, but yeah. Most importantly, we want to thank you, and we hope that you come back and listen to us again on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist and directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.